Hello, everyone. I'm Kaylee Alyssa, the founder of Academy of Yogic Sleep. And today I have Emily with me. And Emily is a member of Academy of Yogic Sleep. And Emily, would you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background as a yoga teacher and studio manager and who you are?
Yeah, so let me keep it brief because it's been a really long journey. Basically, I started teaching in 2013. I was like one of those vinyasa core power type of deals, and it didn't resonate with me. I took a few years off and found myself in Vail, Colorado, taught there for a while, vinyasa again, because I was very undereducated. And then my life turned around when I came to Idaho. And so I've done multiple trainings. I've met amazing people who have taught me so much. I don't know where I would be without so many people, especially Kaylee Alyssa. And
Hmm.
now I have found myself in two different positions at our new yoga studio here in Driggs, Idaho. I am the event coordinator, which has been so freaking fun. And I'm now managing I'm managing the studio, which has been even more fun, like dealing with teachers and learning from them and blah, blah, blah. Like my life has been great. But let me tell you this, these journeys as a yoga teacher are really, really hard. A lot of teachers that start their training, they do it to not just deepen their practice, but deepen their understanding of themselves, their bodies, their hearts, their minds. And whether or not they realize that doesn't matter. They're there for it. And then, you
Yeah.
do the teacher training, you come out and you start to actually embody the practice. And then from there, you move on and you become this spiritual being, especially if you're interested in doing more CEUs or taking more trainings. But I mean, the path is amazing. And
It is.
yes,
It's
I
very
have
fun,
found
right?
my path. I have found my path much clearer after training with Kaylee Alyssa.
I love that. I love hearing that. My daughter, I was going like as you were talking, my 2-year-old daughter does this when she says, I love you. And I find myself doing that now when someone gives me, I'm like, it's like a love tap. Um, Thank you, Emily. Yes, and we are all spiritual beings. Some of us are aware of it. We do yoga training. It tends to make us more aware that, oh, in fact, we're spirits here on earth, embodied in body. So,
Yes.
and that's a journey. It's a journey once we start to realize that.
And it never ends.
Never
Does
ending
not
journey.
end.
Yeah. Well, okay, this is the perfect segue. So, why did you decide to join Academy of Yogic Sleep? What drew you to the program? And before enrolling, was there anything that you were facing, like any challenges in your life, personally, professionally, that kind of led you to this program?
Oh yeah. So, I've been teaching yoga for a while now, a lot of different modalities, but I have to say that nothing has brought me out of myself or rather into myself more than meditation and yoga nidra and kundalini yoga that I've been practicing, and which those types of modalities, they really start to bring you past the physical into the mental, the emotional, and that in itself is, I mean, what's the word? It's priceless, right? Is that a good word for it? I want a
Yeah.
better word for it. Doesn't matter. But so I joined the program. I joined the program because I was feeling stuck. I was feeling stuck as a yoga teacher. I was feeling anxious. I had the whole fraud complex or whatever. Where you think you're not good enough. And I was
Imposter
like,
syndrome.
yes. And I was like, what's going on in here to make me feel like I can't do these things because I can. And that's where those limiting beliefs come in. And those stemmed from, my father died when I was very young. I watched him very sick, and it scared me as a kid. And so as I grew up, my fear of death was so strong, I could not function, right? So I started yoga. Yin yoga saved my life. Breath work came into it. Yoga nidra came into it, meditation. And now I am not the same person. I mean, I've shed so many layers of resistance. It's like unreal. And so that's why I needed that practice. And honestly, I didn't even know I needed it. So I came across, I follow you on Instagram, and I came across that training and I was like, well, goddamn, I think I just felt drawn to it. You know what I mean? There's no
Yeah.
logic. My heart was like, try this,
Mm.
you know?
Hmm. I do. I think a lot of people can resonate with that. Sometimes we're on the fence. We're like, oh, should I do it? Should I not?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we just know and we dive in head first, and that's very
Yep.
exciting because you're in your knowing, and that's a super like empowering experience to have
It
that.
really is. It really is.
Um, um, can you describe your experience going through AOIS in the program during the 12 weeks? Like, what came up for you? Were there any aspects of it that really stood out for you, or any big like takeaways, learning experiences, aha moments that you had? What was your experience of AOIS?
Okay, let me think about that for a second. You know, what do I want to say first about this? Because there's just so many things. So I guess learning about the koshas for me was really, really huge because, I'd heard of them, but I've never dived in. And like as we were learning the scripts through Yoga Nidra, I was like, my God, I'm not stuck in this body, right? I expand out and out and out. And that was a profound realization for me. As I kept practicing, I was like, wow, holy shit, I'm all the way out.
I
And
could
it
feel
felt,
that
yeah,
in your nidras and your scripts. I knew that that's what you were playing with. Was whoa, I'm going beyond. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
whoa.
Yeah.
And then what was the other question? Um, um,
The other
um,
question was like, how was actually going through the course for you? Like going through the 12 weeks and the modules, what was it like inside of AOAS, your experience of the program?
oh yeah. I thought the program was amazing. I could have gone so much longer just because you know, um, I'm a very physical person a lot of the time. That's just how I grew up. And learning about the neuroscience, what's happening in the brain, pineal gland, pituitary gland, the vagus nerve. I'm stuttering now, but I never researched these things, and they're superpowers for your body.
Hmm.
I mean, for God's sakes, the electromagnetic field of our heart is huge compared to our brain. And I'm like moving through my life, all of my intelligence, goddamn being sick, all of my intelligence, I was like, oh, it's right here. This is where I'm smart. This is how I know. And now I'm like, this
Mm,
is my space of intelligence.
that's
So
right.
yes. And I know that you and I talked briefly about your advanced training that you're going to do. And I was like, God, must,
Yeah.
must.
Mm. I love the reflection on like shifting your intelligence from your brain to your heart. It's like moving it down into the feeling rather than the intellectual mind, and that's part of the process, right? And that's part of the
Exactly.
journey. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
well, thank you for the reflection. I like how you added in the scientific part of the program. I think that's a really important aspect of moving through this program, and so thank you for bringing that in.
The best.
Yeah. What do you think, like, how did the training impact you personally, like your well-being and what were the moments that you were like, oh, this changed me or this like shifted something for me?
Okay. So the first moment that I really experienced deep meditation was when I did your foundational energy center meditation.
Hmm.
And I was just sitting on the floor, like closing down my eyes, and I swear to God, I was the ocean. watching the waves. And I just sat there and I was like, sweet, because you figure it out. And then in your waking or you're like more aware, like beta waves or whatever, you have that ability to be like, oh, I feel like shit. But wait, these thoughts are not helping me. They're not part of me. They're not me. I'm good. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think anyone who's listening, what Em's referring to is the waves as your thoughts and the ocean as your awareness, right? So separating
Yes.
yourself from your thoughts, realizing that you are not actually your thoughts. You can observe them, you can witness them, and she had
Yes.
that experience.
So, like one of the nidras that you did where you sink to the bottom and watch the surface waves, that's what I felt like. And after
Hmm.
that, like my life totally changed. Like I'm walking around through the day and I'm like, oh, I'm having a negative thought. And I'm like, that's not in my head. Like, get out of here. I'm this, not that. You know what I mean?
I do,
And
I do.
like the emotions that pass through, the sensations that pass through, yeah, feel them and feel bad about it for a second, but then you're like, but wait, now I feel good. Because you learn it through that practice.
That's amazing. That's a really big personal takeaway. What about professional, like what has shifted for you in terms of, you know, um, your professional practice or as a yoga teacher? What's shifted professionally since going through this program?
So professionally, I mean, so I'm the manager now at the studio. I'm the event coordinator. I put stuff out on YouTube. I mostly meditations. I'm still easing into the whole Yoga Nidra script. And so that's been an experiment. Um,
So none of that was
Beyond
happening
that,
before AOYS? None of these things. This is all sense. Incredible. That's awesome.
dude, I know. Just up, up, up. I'm telling you.
Yes. Yes. Love
Like
that.
the craziest thing is like we doubt ourselves at so many times of the day. Like I can't do that because of this. Excuses, excuses, excuses. And when I talk to some clients and they're having troubles, I'm like, hey, why don't you try this yoga nidra class or do a 5 minute meditation, see how it makes you feel? And they're just like, too unknown, too unknown. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get you there. Okay.
People come to yoga for the workout, but inevitably they get the work in, whether they want it or not. It happens eventually, somewhere along the road. So we just have to have
Yes,
faith.
exactly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so excited about all the shifts that have happened for you professionally. I didn't know that all that had happened since AOS, and that's a lot of things. And so, first of all,
I know.
congratulations.
I know. Thank
And
you.
yeah, the last thing, kind of, I'll maybe two more questions, but this one is, we train people in this program to become um, leaders in order to heal themselves. So we give you the sovereignty to heal yourself, and then also to then learn how to guide others towards healing themselves. Can you share
Yes.
an experience when you've been able to facilitate healing for someone else in your life since this training?
Oh, so many. Let me think of a good one. Well, here's the thing. I, not to toot my own goddamn horn, but I am really, really close with all of my clients. And a lot of the time they come to me and they're like, I'm having this issue mentally, emotionally. I don't know what to do about it. And I've been like, hey, let's work one on one. Let's start with a 5 minute meditation. Let's go from there, do like a series. And then I want to ask you how you feel from there. And I've done this with my friend Sue, and my God, the things she has to say to me now, she's like, I don't even know why I didn't ever do this before. Because she's not, she's not a beginner, but she's not an intermediate. You know what I'm saying? She whatever. But and then I taught a yoga nidra class a couple weeks ago, and it was all about like this pathway to bliss where you are, let me see if I can remember how that went. You sort of travel from the navel to the heart, third eye. So you're starting in like your physical state, moving into the heart, moving into, it's hard to explain now. It was such a long script, but I led them on a journey to self and
Mhm.
soul. And it was very visual. I noticed I'm a very visual writer.
You are. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep. And so I had a couple of people come up to me afterwards crying, of course. And, I just give them a hug. I'm like, I know your body is releasing and that this is what you need to feel. And I've had people come up to me and be like, I feel weird. I kind of feel sick. And I'm like, that's your body healing. It's releasing into the greater energy field. So trust it. And I think that has been just profound for me. Like I learned so much from being a facilitator.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And now that you're in this role, seeing the impact that this practice has on people is pretty profound.
Yeah.
Um, you know it for yourself, but seeing it in others is really it's a special thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, what would you say to someone who's thinking about joining Academy of Yogic Sleep, considering enrolling in this program?
I would say that an experience like this with this person, Kaylee Alyssa in particular, is going to change your entire life. You're going to walk out of this training as a new version of you. You're going to let go of the past, throw away the damn trash, and move on. And I mean, shit, like,
Just love you so much.
you know, you feel lighter, and then I think the most profound thing for me was that, harnessing that reality of duality that exists in the logical mind and through the practice being able to experience the good and the bad simultaneously, and that gives you the superpower to be like, oh, I feel bad, but you're like, oh wait, but I remember what it feels like to be good. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And then it totally changes, because our bodies are totally fluid. We're exchanging things all the time. And it's like, how could you ever be stuck in one state of being?
yeah.
That's not realistic. So, transformation within AOYS is a reality.
Mm.
There's no, I mean, I bet if you talk to everybody already, they're going to say the same shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of personal transformation that has led to realizing what an impact they can have, which is really powerful.
Right. And then look
Mm.
at me, like once develop this consistent practice, not just of nidra, but of meditation, you start to lift yourself up and climb to higher heights without even realizing it because people are just drawn to you because you've touched into your inner radiance.
Hmm. Beautiful, so beautiful. Let's leave it at that. That's the perfect ending to this interview. Unless you have anything else you want to say, of course, I'm open to receive.
No,
Um,
but I want you to be my mentor.
okay, we can chat about that after this recording.
Okay.
I love you. To everyone listening, thank you so much for being here. If you're considering joining Academy of Yogic Sleep, you can feel free to reach out to Emily and chat her up about her experience more. We'll be sharing her contact info, her work in the world, all of that with everyone. And you can also feel free to reach out to me and the Academy of Yogic Sleep team. We're here for you. So thank you for joining us today. Mwah.